listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast, a Texas Tech athletics podcast where food and sports clash at the goal line. Here are your hosts, Spencer and Michael.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 23 Personnel Podcast. I'm your host, Spencer, joined by Michael. Michael, what's up, man?
The NBA is on NBC. That's what's up.
Are we back?
We are so back. This is not an instant reaction pod. I thought you told me this is an instant reaction pod, but the notes don't indicate that. I'm ready. There's 53 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Oklahoma City is up 102-101 versus the Houston Rockets. KD, Kevin Durant is on the Houston Rockets. Did you know this?
No.
Brought the ball down, made a pass to a guy I don't know. Back down into the lane. Oh, a great right-handed hook shot. Spun on the left, pivot foot. Houston's up by 1. 35 seconds to go. Ooh, a brick from the Thunder. KD's got the ball back, rebound. Houston cross half court with 24 seconds. So anyway, I'm surprisingly been really enjoying. I've been looking forward to the NBA kicking off. I've kind of done without it the last few years, but I'm going to try to right that ship this year and watch a little bit more basketball. I do like what NBC has done, even though, they just kind of got the game back, but they redid the logo. They redid the opening thing. They've got John Tesh, Round Ball Rock, just screaming through the rafters. It's phenomenal. Got interviewing Michael Jordan at halftime, pre-taped interviews for like 90 seconds of gold that they'll sprinkle in throughout the year. It's been really impressive. I've really enjoyed this. How are you?
I'm conflicted.
Oh no.
I'm feeling lots of different ways. There's a guy I follow on TikTok. He's mainly sticks in like the health and wellness realm, and he was talking about like he was talking about how ridiculous it is to let fandom of a game affect how you treat people.
100% true.
I was like,
that doesn't mean I'm not guilty of it, but it's 100% true.
He said it was like, he was going on and said it's not a bad thing to care about things, not a bad thing to enjoy games and sports in general. It's fun, but it's meant to be a game, and enjoy the time they win. And if they don't, you're just like, oh, well, it's a game. Yeah, well, I wish I could do that more.
Speaking of games, KD missed a free throw and made the second one. So Houston was only up by 2. So with 9.5 seconds left, the Thunder went down the court, drained a jumper with 2 seconds left. Game is tied. Houston ball.
Well, here we go. Do they go the length of the court, Michael, and give up a last second score?
Well, this is pro ball, so I assume they called a timeout, and they will get the ball at half court.
Well,
because
the metaphor still stands.
Only in NBA can you advance the ball with a timeout. It's beautiful.
Yeah, so we're going to go through a little bit of a recap. Very brief this week. I don't really want to dig up the game on Saturday.
We talked about it for an hour last week. It's fine.
I did not rewatch any of it. Did not watch any highlights. I guess, you know what the most I've seen from this game, Michael, has been the few second clip of the goalpost coming down.
Golly.
I've also seen second most would be clips of Texas Tech defensive players interacting with fans on the field after the final whistle. Watch that. Oh, and then how close Caleb Douglas was to catching the last pass.
Well, those goalposts, man, that's
no joke. Slamming down.
those things came down faster than a lot of Kansas tweets about throwing pocket knives.
No, those are still up there, man. They're still
Oh,
up.
some of them are? Okay. I know some have been deleted.
And a lot of the people that were slinging those accusations doubled, tripled, quadrupled down. Even with videos, like what exactly is this supposed to be showing? It's like,
I do want to point out something, and this is I'm kind of scooping you threw this in the Discord first, but since we're talking about the goalposts and the field
go for it.
storming and all that stuff, Arizona State was officially fined $50,000 today by the Big 12 for storming the field, or in terms that we understand in Lubbock, 1/2 a tortilla.
Yeah. Since you brought that up, Michael, since your segue, we'll briefly touch on this too. Tortillas now officially banned. We thought that was the direction things were headed because I don't know how you rein it back in without a full ban. I feel strongly both ways about this, and I'll just try to briefly summarize it. I think how much the tortilla, I'm going to say air quotes tradition here because it wasn't. I mean, it has a tradition, but it's not like it's been long, super long standing in the fan base like what it is today. I think the way it's exploded the past few years, I think it's quirky. It's kind of fun. Is it core central to my fandom as a Red Raider? No. I really appreciated and enjoyed that it was unique, and that it was born out of somebody trying to get a jab in at my team, and we turned it around and made it this fun thing. On the flip side, like it became the target of all these things over the summer, and tongue in cheek, we kind of like, oh yeah, well you can't take it from us, and blah blah blah, and then essentially it's been legislated out and taken away from you. I'm frustrated with your mark. I'm frustrated with Hocut. Even Monday, he said you can't take this away from us. Can't take this away from us, but we're taking it away. It's like, well, I can appreciate he did take some attention on himself and say, hey, we steered into this. It was on us this summer, and now essentially like we can't have this be a thing. I wish our fans would kind of understand that, and like, to be fair, it's had a really big blow up and you haven't had a chance to see any response, right? Like this happened post Kansas game, then you were on the road and it continued to get all this attention, and you haven't played a home game. So you haven't even seen what was going to happen after all the attention you gave it. So I don't know. You may see 10 times as many tortillas because they can't throw everybody out. You may see a very small number. You're not going to see zero. You're not going to see zero. I don't like that they've been taken away. Although, like, again, not a core part of my fandom as a Red Raider. And I don't like how it was kind of imposed upon us. But also, if it's standing in the way of Texas Tech being more competitive in a game that's close, then get them all the way out of the stadium. I don't even care. Be gone. I want the game to be about the game, not tortillas being thrown and what that means to some people in our fan base. That, I don't know. It's fine. That's about all I wanted to say on it. About as deep as I wanted to go, probably deeper, but also like, yeah, what you got?
I'm just piggybacking on what you said. McGuire and Hocut did take some ownership of fueling stoking the fire, fueling the flames a little bit on the whole 15-1 thing, which is something that I've been annoyed with this entire time. But I did appreciate that. And the other thing I would point out, I've never thrown a tortilla. I'm with you. It's cool, but it seems like we were getting into the realm of self-parody. It just this just was our thing because this is our thing. This is what we do. That's what you got to do. You got to throw the tortillas, man. You got to do it. It's like, having someone say their catchphrase all the time, and that's all they're good for. It just kind of felt like when Urkel walked in on Family Matters and the crowd just, and he said, "Did I do that?" or something. That was us, but we're throwing tortillas because that's what we do, and that's what everyone expects us to do. And it just ballooned. I'm with you. So I don't think I will miss it that much. I've seen some rumblings on the whole hand towel thing, maybe a terrible tortilla towel, but
that's dumb.
I do not care. I will not miss it. People can be bad at the Big 12 if they want. I get it, because they're equating it down to, well, it's just picking on Texas Tech. Well, you know what? Texas Tech got to do this for 30 years. They threw stuff on the field for 30 years, and no one really said
tortillas.
Much.
They threw. I mean, they also
yes.
threw some water and beer bottles. Very, very rarely.
Machetes, the occasional
batteries,
switchblade,
frozen water bottles in the third quarter of a 90-degree football game.
Loafers, coolers full of gumballs. Just whatever you can think of, it's been thrown. But I'm with you. I'm ready to move past it. I hate that I have tickets to this. No, wait. Let me start over. I have tickets to this game, the Oklahoma State game. I hate that I'm going to miss kickoff because I wish I could be there for the drama. But
because you want to be
soccer
self-policing. You're like, no, it was that guy.
Oh, that's
one.
Right.
His girlfriend has another stash. Kick them all out.
That's right. Speaking of other things that have been thrown on the field, I'm going to be packing some brass knuckles. I'll be dealing some sweet street justice to any tortilla throwers within an arm's length of this wide body. So get ready to catch these hands. I ain't messing around. I will put you on the ground if I see a tortilla in my vicinity.
Okay. Well, one more thing. And I know we talked about like Hokut kind of taking some ownership of laying into it. I think like he had to say that, but also from the beginning, it's always been at the opening kickoff. Like it was never like throw it whenever. It was like you throw it once, then there will be a warning, and then anything after that is going to be a penalty. That's always been the message. Throw it once. It's everybody else that doesn't stick to the throw it once. Also, like, I know it's evolved, but I remember like a lot of it used to be throwing it up in the air. Now, I saw a video probably from the Kansas game. It looked like they were like all of them were launched in to the stadium, not up. They were in. I was like, that you're missing the point. It was always up. It was like a
like throwing your graduation cap or something.
Yeah, like I swear, like if we could just collectively undumb ourselves, throw the dang things up in the air. Yes, some will move forward. Wind, it's gonna do what it's gonna do. But don't help it. Don't throw it at the field. All right, that's it. Arizona State game. You got beat. It's disappointing that it felt like you were less prepared. You didn't want it as much. It's frustrating to be on the receiving end of I told you so's, and you guys paid all that money and then you still look like crap. You were their Super Bowl, and you're going to get a lot of people's attention and a lot of haters and detractors. I assume most teams, experiences every week. It's new to me. I mean, I'll just be honest, like to have the target on your back week in and week out, for them to always to be chugging along and like just waiting for you to stumble. Houston thinking there's something at 6-1, like we're in the middle of a rebuild and we're 6-1. Look at what Texas Tech is at 6-1. It's like these two 6-1 teams are not the same. You remember when these two teams actually played the game, right? Like it's not the same. Your outlook is 7-5. Ours is 11-1. So we're not the same. I also don't like, because of this game, like I was feeling pressure. I have no performance with this team. I don't play. I don't prepare. I don't do anything but record my thoughts in a podcast twice a week. The pressure I was feeling was mounting as like, man, like every week, like there, like until you got to this week, really there was like no let up. And even now I'm like, it like going from playing that game against Arizona State, I think you're battered Tech fan. I think you're at more of a chance to lose this one today than you were a week ago. Had you rolled into this game 7-0, I don't think there would have been any kind of cause for concern. I think now that you did stumble, my thought process is you lost a lot of momentum. You're facing a team way down and out, but we've seen teams that were way down and out come back and punch somebody that wasn't ready for it. I'm concerned that there's going to be it's Oklahoma State, like they're so bad you could sleepwalk and win this game. And again, not show up prepared enough to win the game. They're bad. They're really bad. They're losing guys left and right. Injury to the transfer portal. Coaching staff is out. Like, there's absolutely no way, no reason you couldn't cover the 38.5 points. We'll get to that in a little bit, but like, that's where I'm at. Call me soft. Call me Pink Raider. I did have us going 12-0, but like at this point, I think I'm more concerned about this game today than I was last Tuesday. Let's put it that way. So,
well, let me alleviate some of your concern, because I caught most of the press conference, most of the Oklahoma State press conference, really just Hokut's comments about the tortillas, which we've already addressed, and McGuire's portion, a little bit of Shillwood, what he had to say, but there's not a lot there. But the one thing I wanted to bring up is that McGuire, I think there was someone on staff or someone he interviewed or someone he talked to who was on Ohio State's staff last season. And he asked them, how did Ohio State go from losing to Michigan to just running everyone over the rest of the year to a national championship? And her response was that the whole team was just, quote, pissed off, and they had an edge and a chip on their shoulder the rest of the year and everything. And so he said he's kind of drawing from that, and I think the players and the coaches are drawing from that, and he's seeing it. So there's that to help you climb out a little bit, put those scarlet colored glasses back on. But I get what you're saying. There's just something about losing in the fashion that Tech did, where it looked like they just did not have a pulse on offense except for a random 2-minute stretch in the fourth quarter. And then, just being that close to being 7-0 for the third or fourth time ever, that stung.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I'm ready to go into Oklahoma State if you want. There really wasn't a whole lot in like I said, or we can go through a little bit of last week's results. I think we covered some of those during the instant reaction too, but I know there's some we didn't.
I assume the preview stuff where we're looking at was a fully healthy Baron Morton versus maybe even like a hobbled Sam Levitt. So when the advanced numbers we looked at last week showed you as a 15-point favorite and a 75% chance to win this game, like I felt supremely confident in that. Like you're just going to roll. And you had won every game by 24 points. I thought that was going to continue. Didn't. So I think I would love to see Texas Tech come out this weekend pissed off for greatness and absolutely lay the wood against Oklahoma State. I would love to see a 66-6 in the other direction. I would love it more if that game was in Stillwater, but I would love to see that happen. Mainly because you saw it a lot this past weekend. You saw it for glimpses last week, the week before against Kansas. There's something just a little bit off on your offense, and I want to see that get going again. You won comfortably versus Kansas, but there was a stretch there where your offense couldn't do jack. Obviously, you didn't do very well against Arizona State, and they don't have the best defense. They were better against the run than the pass, but you could not throw the ball. They were hobbled and putting together a piecemeal offensive line. And for the most part, you got very little pressure or affected what they wanted. You didn't get a lot of pass rush. You did well against the run, and they were decent. They were a good running team on this season, and you held them to 65 yards. But then they threw for 320. Your pass rush wasn't successful. I want to see those things come back against a very overmatched opponent. I want to see it look easy. Again, it did look easy earlier this year. It looked easy for stretches at times against Houston, probably more so against Kansas. Utah and Kansas State, you were fighting for your life in both of those games. I want to see it look easy again. So like my coming out of the Arizona State game is I want to see the team be pissed off, and I want to see them beat the absolute brakes off this team. Sorry, Cowboys, like you've done this for us for too many years. We need to get back right. You're gonna take the wrath of this one. Hopefully, for our sake, like settle down the fan base here, quell my nerves here. Let's get back on track and get ready for the trip to Manhattan the week after. Because you play like you did this past week against Arizona State, you absolutely could lose another one that you should have won. So we'll do the more full in depth. I don't know how in depth we really want to go against Oklahoma State, but we'll get there in a little bit. Let's wrap up the rest of the Big 12. I don't know how much we did that on Saturday. Because I know there was still the BYU game was still ongoing or was winding down. Houston hosted Arizona early on Saturday, ended up winning that one by 3. It was a 2.5 point line at the end of the game, or by the time that kicked off, it ended up being a 3-point game. Houston wins that one 6-1. Baylor on the road at TCU. Michael, you pointed this one out. There was a long rain delay, super long game. Kicked off at 11, but it was like 5, 6 o'clock. Your games were going final at the same time, and they started a whole window ahead of you. TCU does end up coming out of that one 42-36. West Virginia at UCF. UCF really, I mean, there was a 7-point favorite, but they took care of business, 45-13. Cincinnati at Oklahoma State. They were 22-point favorites. They won by 32, 49-17. I want to take a little bit of that. I want to see Texas Tech score more than 49 points and give up fewer than 14. Maybe like 55-13. Lead from the start, hammer down. 66-6 would be great. If you don't quite reach that on both ends, I'm not going to be supremely disappointed. but they've been bad. And then Utah, 3.5-point favorites on the road at BYU. BYU ends up winning that one 24-21. BYU 7-0, but they've got a murderous row of a schedule coming up starting this weekend. They're at Iowa State. They've got a road game at Texas Tech.
Cincinnati too.
Cincinnati, like,
yeah, they've got a tough row to hoe.
And I'm not saying they're going to lose all those games, or maybe not even any of them. And not that they haven't had a hard schedule, but they've played Oklahoma State or West Virginia. That they've now played Utah. That was a big game for them. But they've got a tough stretch ahead of them. All right. Other games from this weekend: Ole Miss at Georgia. Georgia ended up winning that one by 8. What happened?
Double overtime in Oklahoma City.
Still going. Nice.
Still going. That it's just such a good production. They don't want it to end. Yeah, and
Okay.
I think with that Georgia game, Ole Miss jumped out to a lead, and Georgia came back. If I'm not mistaken.
I didn't watch any of that one. I didn't watch any of the other games. I legitimately I watched one game, and it was and I watched some of the Utah BYU game, but I watched Texas Tech game, and it was one of those days where like I didn't want to watch any more seconds of football. I was just not burned out, but I was done. Number 10 LSU at Vandy. Vandy took care of that one, 31-24. I was texting with my cousins who are LSU fans and alums, like, man, it's rough. And they're like, yeah, we're pulling for you guys. And I was like, we didn't do so well either. USC at Notre Dame. Notre Dame ended up winning that one by 10, 34-24. So Notre Dame is, I mean, I hate to say it, like they're doing okay, decent, maybe deserving of their ranking, Michael, even though 2 losses.
I've got a little bit more on that if you're ready for me to run through the top 25 update.
Yeah, let's do that, because I mean, I want to be frustrated about how far Texas Tech fell. Other teams that lost also fell 6, 7, 8 spots. I mean, you lost on the road with a backup quarterback when you had a lead, like you had a chance to win that game with 2 minutes to go. You dropped 7 spots. A lot of people think that feels a little harsh. At week 8, it really doesn't matter. You still have plenty of time to climb back yet. You've got enough schedule left to climb back in. If this was like, week 12 and you lost and you dropped from 7 to 15 or whatever it would be, like, yeah, you're cooked. But I think you're fine. Yeah, it was great to be top 10 and to be climbing and looking ahead like, oh, well, that team lost ahead of you and that team lost. Like, you could really jump up in top 5. You got to take care of your own schedule first. So,
yeah, I mean, it's really like LSU went down 10 spots. Tennessee went down 6. Miami went down 7, just like Texas Tech. So it wasn't I didn't feel slighted by it. And like you said, there's still a lot of ball left. There's still 5, hopefully 6 games left for Texas Tech to make their statement, to make any sort of chance to play beyond a possible Big 12 championship game. And so with that, we mentioned BYU taking care of Utah at home, despite being a home underdog, and they moved up from 15 to 11. Utah, that can't be right. I think I must have messed that up. Utah is out again. They are receiving votes. I think I forgot to take that out. Cincinnati bumped up. They were 24 last week. They're now 21. Arizona State is back. You're welcome. They were previously out and are now number 24. Here are the 5-2 teams that voters love, Spencer. Number 12, Notre Dame. They're still climbing. But here's what they have left. At Boston College versus Navy, at Pitt versus Syracuse, then at Stanford. Woof.
Yeah.
So not a lot to. They're going to need a lot of people ahead of them to lose.
Well, at 12, they don't really have to go like that. They're fine where they're at.
Yeah, I mean,
But
you're right. You're right.
I also heard like their best win this year is actually a close loss. Like
Yes.
that's the best thing on their
probably the
schedule
A&M game.
is the loss to A&M. I was like, well, that's ridiculous. And I realized I said that like they're probably a decent team. They're probably a good team. But if you look at their schedule, like they don't have any juice to back it up.
Right, and they're not going to
have
earn
nothing
anymore.
left. Yeah, they have nothing left.
Nope. There's no championship game. There's nothing. They should wipe the floor with the rest of their schedule, and no one's going to be impressed by it. And so they're hanging on by a thread. That'll be interesting to see how that all the chips fall on that if they do end up going 10-2, and we're December 7th trying to figure out all this is. Number 17, Tennessee. They're 5-2. LSU is 5-2. I think someone did I think the teams that they've beaten have like a combined average record of 3-4 or something like that.
Yikes.
I can't remember what it is. Anyway, it's not the best resume, but oh well. And then of course 5-2 teams that voters love. Texas is still back, folks. They're number 22. And then receiving votes for the Big 12, Utah and Houston and TCU. Now the coaches poll, very similar. I'll just run through them. BYU jumped up from 14 to 10. Texas Tech went down from 8 to 15. Cincinnati climbed from 24 to 21. Arizona State was unranked last week. They are in at 25 right now. Utah, 22 last week, but are out this week. And so they are receiving votes along with Houston, TCU, just like the AP poll, and Iowa State. So coaches still pretty high on the Cyclones. I think the AP voters just kind of forgot they existed because they were on a bye week, but the coaches didn't. Coaches they know ball, so they say. So that's where we're landing. I love that we're talking about a top 15 Texas Tech team that's 7-1 in a conference that people left for dead. It still just exhilarates me to know that that's a thing that we're doing, and barring some crazy, unforeseen, awful thing happen this weekend, we will be doing it next week too, heading into Manhattan. I don't want to look ahead, but I am looking ahead just a little. Just when you live in West Texas, it's hard not to look ahead because you can see, you can look so far ahead, you can see the back of your head. You can just look as far as you want, and that's what I'm trying to do. But rein it in just a little bit. Find a tree somewhere that's going to block a little bit of view. Some random transplant of an oak that someone brought over on a wagon.
Well, let's point our direction to the northeast, Michael.
Let's do it.
Water, and welcome in the Cowboys. Like, come on in.
Yeah,
pokes. Cowboys coming in this weekend. S&P Plus team ranked 121. Your Red Raiders holding strong at 4, even after this past week. They were 4. They remained 4. Be a 3 p.m. kick on Fox. Michael, I had to do a double take when I looked at the weather for this weekend. High of 74.
Gorgeous.
And then I looked at today's weather. I was like, today was the first day I was actually, I felt jealous. I missed it. Another cool, fantastic, fabulous day for West Texas fall, right? It was low 70s.
Yes, it was. And it was 90 on Monday. So I think hopefully Monday was summer's just last gasp before it finally died. And I think we are officially in fall now, until there's a random 89-degree day in November. probably on Thanksgiving, but that's fine. We'll deal with it. We're West Texas tough.
We hit 93 today.
Yeesh.
Granted, I was gonna like talk about like 93, 94, whatever. It's been like the hottest it's ever been since I've been here, and since June. We're also talking about October 21st. But
real quick, I heard the cold front come in Monday night, and it set off our Ring camera.
I
all
know
of a sudden
exactly.
the whole house just you do, and it just the whole house started making weird noises, and then the Ring camera's going off. You're like, what's happening? My wife was just she said it smiling as if someone had handed her her favorite dessert or something. She's like, the cold front.
It's time. Like,
yes,
just like
it
running
did.
through the house to go get a flannel shawl to wrap up in.
I'm a robe guy now. I've got to break out the robe. Okay. Sorry, that was a lot of weather talk, but I can't help it.
Yeah, and I baited you there. I did see your family's fall pictures. Beautiful family.
Thank you.
Way on top of it. It is October 21st, and you're like, got them Christmas cards ready.
Well, because it's been 3 or 4 years since we've taken photos as a family, so don't give us too much credit.
Because like I think about like we had to delay a post game instant reaction because y'all were out getting somewhere frigid.
Oh, that was a different time. That was even longer. I think
that was really been that long ago.
Okay. That was probably 6 years ago. We had a toddler. Yeah, we had a toddler, and then there was another time we took Christmas photos when I think it was 3 years ago. So yeah, we're on like a 3-year cycle apparently. All right, well, it's fine.
That reminded me.
Thank you though.
What do we learn? Independent toddlers.
Ooh, oh boy. There.
All right. Yeah, 93. It should be 85, mid to low 80s. Moving on. Even rain tomorrow. So we'll see. Oklahoma State. I looked this up, Michael. Their last Big 12 victory, November 25th, 2023. It has almost been 2 full calendar years since they've won a conference game.
I looked up something else too. Did you know that this series, and of course I closed the window, is exactly dead even tied?
I did not remember that.
It is, I believe it's 24 wins on each side and 3 ties.
And that would have been evened up last year when you won in Stillwater.
Correct.
Let's pull up the Winsipedia compare page.
Well, it wasn't last year. Was it last year? It was 2 years ago. I don't think we played them last year.
Did we not play them last year? You did?
No, I don't think so.
It was yes, yeah, because it was a big Taj Brooks, Jalen Conyers game. Sorry, no. Speaking of toddlers, baby girl, you need to go to bed. Oh dear. Yeah, because let's see. Yeah, 2024.
Yeah,
you won
right.
56-48.
Yeah.
You did not play 2023. That's what it was. You missed that year. That was your first time you didn't play since 2000. Nope. What is that? 95 was the last time you missed playing Oklahoma State. So you played them from 96 to 22.
And they haven't been to Lubbock since 21. And that was a 23-0 loss that I don't even remember. I guess it's good that I don't remember that. Was that Sonny Cumbie? No.
That was it was early Sonny Cumbie.
Yeah.
And they had what's his face, Jim Knowles. Like they were pitching shutouts left and right, and like.
Oh, that's right.
And this was the beer bottle game.
Yeah, their defense was salty. Okay, I remember that now.
Not the case for 2025. They were, no, sorry, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Led by interim head coach / offensive coordinator Doug Meacham. So I thought it's funny that he's back there. Last season, they went 3-9. Their only wins coming against South Dakota State, Arkansas, and Tulsa. They went winless in conference play all of last season, and then stretched into the very tail end of 2023. So far this year, they are 1-6. Their only win came on game 1 versus UT Martin, that is University of Tennessee Martin, 27-7. Then they lost 69-3 at Oregon, 19-12 versus Tulsa, 45-27 versus Baylor, 41-13 at Arizona, 39-17 versus Houston, and most recently 49-17 against Cincinnati. Their Power 5 losses are an average score of 48-15, which is an average margin of defeat of 33 points. Michael, tell me what the advanced metrics calls for this game. Span 32 points. Sorry.
Yeah, it's right at it.
I didn't know if you knew what I wanted you to go look at because that was not very clear. The prediction.
I was ready.
Yeah, sorry. The predictive model that we use, the CFP graphs matchup, has this as a 32-point margin for the Red Raiders. I don't have a list written out for guys that have hit the portal. Obviously, there was a rule change. They were grandfathered in, so some of their players could have hit the portal mid-season. They've been losing guys. They lost guys early on. They've had defensive backs, offensive linemen. There's a defensive lineman. They have a really good defensive end that is still playing and like the focal point of trying to get retained, as well as their running back, which we'll talk about in a second. Michael, give us an update. What just happened?
Well, we're in double overtime. Houston got a nice Euro step / almost travel drive to the basket to go up 1 with 11 seconds left. So Houston is up 124-123 versus the Thunder.
There you go.
It's crazy.
Penalty wise, they are actually middle of the road penalties. They've committed 47 total penalties on the season. That's 85th in the country, 6.7 per game. Texas Tech. It did have a down tick this past weekend, still 57 total, tied for 124th at just over 8 per game. Offensively, they are 112th in the country, going up against the number 13th defense. Somehow, Michael, your defense moved up after this past weekend. Doug Meacham is their offensive coordinator. Quarterbacks, they've played a bunch. And some of it's been out of necessity. They lost Haas Haney early on in the season with a foot injury. Then they rolled with Zane Flores, who was just terrible. I cannot emphasize how bad he was. The past 2 games, they started Sam Jackson V. That name may sound familiar to you. He's been everywhere. All right, let's trail this back. He was a quarterback at TCU in 21 and 22. He was a quarterback at Cal in 23. He was a wide receiver at Auburn in 24. He came to TCU, came back to Oklahoma State. Sorry, he came to Oklahoma State as a wide receiver and has been converted back to a quarterback this year. This past week against Cincinnati, he was 11 of 19 passing for 149 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, 14 carries, but had a negative net for -3 yards on the day and a touchdown. His participation in games has ramped up. Like he did complete a pass versus Tulsa. He's 1 for 1. It's 3 for 4 versus Baylor, 3 for 6 versus Arizona. Although Flores got the start in that game and he went 9 for 20. And then versus Houston, when he got first team starter, he was 7 of 16, but he was 1 of 4 players in that Houston game to attempt to pass. They had 4 different players attempt to pass. and this past weekend 11 for 19. So
Yikes.
Getting 19 pass attempts this week, 16 last week, but its completion percentage went up. Cincinnati does not have a pass defense. Their run defense is a lot better. But he was the only player to attempt to pass this past weekend. So maybe Meacham is honing in on a quarterback. But they've played truly 3 different starters, but then they've had a bunch of gadget guys, trick plays, whatever. On the field, on the ground, excuse me, the running back Rodney Fields is the main guy you need to worry about on their offense. The Oklahoma State fans want to keep Rodney Fields, and they want to keep their defensive end, which we'll talk about in a second. Fields so far in the season, 76 carries, 420 yards. That's 5.5 yards per carry, but only 1 touchdown. Caleb Hicks is the other running back, 42 carries, 125 yards, 3 yards per carry. So it's a very big drop off between Rodney Fields and Caleb Hicks. Hicks is their number 2 guy. It's not like it's spread out or whatever. It's Fields. Through the air, Gavin Freeman, 23 catches, 233 yards. It's 10 yards per catch, 2 touchdowns. Shamar Rigby, 13 catches, 219 yards, just under 17 yards per catch. And then third leading receiver is Rodney Fields, 19 catches, 215 yards, just over 11 yards per catch and a touchdown. So Fields has just over 630 yards from scrimmage. He's a big part of their offense, but not scoring. They don't score a lot of points, but they convert only 35% of their third downs. It's 113th, 113th. I don't even know why I wrote that. In the country, Texas Tech defense is 16th at third down conversion defense at 30%. And then red zone offense. I believe that's actually Arizona State. I'm not even going to read that one. Texas Tech defense slid a couple spots in their scoring defense after giving up 26 points. Now you're giving up 14 points per game, 99 total points all season. And I think you can still claim your starting defense has given up now 6 touchdowns on the season.
Sheesh.
Which is just under 1 per game. And you gave up 2 this past weekend. So if you look at the trajectory, it's not great. But then you give up 6 on the season. 2 of the 6 came in game 7. I mean, it's 21 sacks, 5th in the in the FBS. 41 tackles for loss, 8 interceptions. None of those numbers change because you didn't force any takeaways last week. So offensively as a unit, Oklahoma State throws the ball for 172 yards a game at 5.9 yards per attempt. That's pretty bad. 139 yards on the ground for 3.8 yards per carry. It's only 139 yards per game because they run the ball a lot. They convert only 35% of their third and fourth downs and score under 17 points per game. Texas Tech defensively allows teams 200 yards through the year. That number jumped up, a few yards after this past weekend. 5.9 yards per attempt. Still around 64 yards on the ground per game at 2.1 yards per carry. Teams are only converting 31% of third and fourth downs. And now you're allowing 14.4 points. Defensively, it's even worse for the Pokes. They are 118th in the country. We'll be going up against the number 7 S&P Plus defense. They took a drop after this past week from 2 to 7. And I will go and show this comment from a commenter here that came up earlier. Yep, scared of our offense. Sorry, I'm scared our offense isn't good. The stats are so padded. I don't disagree. And I think we've seen struggles this past weekend the past couple of weeks with creativity, with execution in key moments, red zone specifically. You have great opportunity to get a lot of that addressed and feeling a lot better about it. They have 13 sacks on the entire season to the Cowboys. They're led by Wendell Gregory. This is the defensive end, the guy that they really want to keep around. He's got 3. but he's got a really high pressure rate. He's up there on the PFF pressure rate and success lists, all that kind of stuff with David Bailey. For the Big 12, it's Bailey at height, Wendell Gregory from Oklahoma State, and Daly from Utah. So you'll get, again, 3 of the top 4 guys in this matchup this week. And Gregory's going to be the guy you're going to have to look out for when you have the ball. 40 total tackles for loss, 3 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles. Their tackling leaders, Michael, top 3 are all defensive backs. Brian McCoy, Brandon Rawls, Parker Robertson. So teams are getting to the third level against them easily. Offensively, Texas Tech dropped down to they're tied for 4th for scoring offense, now at 43.9 points per game. I'd read you the Morton stats. Those didn't change this past weekend. Hammond is completing just under 64% of his passes for 578 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. He's adding 39 carries on the ground for 278 yards and 5 more touchdowns. I did not realize he had that many rushing touchdowns. Dickey is your leading running back. 100 carries, 639 yards, 6.3 yards per carry, and 8 touchdowns. I'd love to see a healthy Jacoby Williams back in this game. He's participated and played the past couple of weeks, but obviously not 100%. He's at 71 carries, 393 for 5.4 yards per carry and 4 touchdowns. CD is your leading receiver in yards. Aiken's your leading receiver in catches. Terrence Carter, love to see him back, but if he needs the week off to recover, please get right. We're going to need you further down the road. He's your leading touchdown catcher, or at least he's tied. He's tied for first with Virgil. Sorry, I said that wrong. Virgil has your most receptions at 30 and tied for first in touchdowns. Aiken's got 29 catches. Virgil's got 30. And then Jacoby Williams, 16 catches, 235 yards. So when the Red Raiders have the ball, season-wise, 303 yards through the air at 8.4 yards per attempt. The Oklahoma State defense is allowing teams 9.4 yards per attempt, which is eye-popping. You should feast on this pass defense. On the ground, you're putting up 215 yards per game at 5.7 yards per carry. They're allowing teams 175 yards at 4.6 yards per carry. Again, teams are getting to the third level against this defense. They've got one guy you have to key on, and it's Gregory. You've got to make sure that he's chipped. You roll away from him. You throw behind him. You do the things to negate a good pass rush because he's really good. Beyond that, they don't have anything else. Teams are converting 44% of their third and fourth down attempts and scoring more than 38 points per game. It's kind of funny. The CFB matchups graph we touched on. If you haven't seen it, go look at it for this game. It's gradient color wise based on the matchup. So dark blue is a good matchup. Light blue is good. White is neutral. Light red is fairly unfavorable to you. Then dark red is very unfavorable. All categories for Oklahoma State are red except for one, and it's white. All categories for Texas Tech are dark blue except for one, and it's light blue. Very, very much favors Texas Tech. And so much so this has a 41-9 spread for you. You're not going to score 41 points. You'll score more than that. I want to see something like, I'm just going to roll right into predictions here. I'm going to say Texas Tech wins like 56-13. And if because I'm counting on, or I'm manifesting, I want to see the pissed off nature of, I want to see them come back. I want to see it like 45-7 at half.
That seems very reasonable. I'm going to take it easy on the Cowboys a little bit. I'm just going to use some numbers. So I'm basically just pulling from the exact stat that we talked about earlier of Oklahoma State's score versus Power 5 opponents, which is 48-15. And so that's what I'm going with. I'm 38 and a half points is a lot to cover. And I have trouble thinking that Tech's going to do that. And so I could see the over, because the over under on points is 57 and a half. I could see that happening. But, I think Field will have a few big plays, maybe catching something out of the backfield, maybe breaking a little bit on the rushing defense. That not much there, but I do think he is a little bit of a problem. But overall, Tech's defense will be overwhelming, and I'm expecting a big victory here too. I did have another prediction question for you down there that I threw in while you were giving the preview.
I don't know if I want to get into that. No, it's fine.
We got to do it just this once.
All right.
So go ahead. Well, here, let me do it since I'm the one who came up with it. I set the line for tortilla related penalties at 1.5. And so we each have to take the over or the under. What say you, Spencer? I thought about setting it at 0.5, but I felt like I feel like that's too easy. So I set it at 1.5.
I think it's going to be a very expensive day for the Texas Tech athletic department.
Oh, no.
I think.
Oh, no.
Give me the over. I don't know. I don't know by how much.
It doesn't matter.
But that will mean that there were 3. So like 3 tortilla throws. You're going to get the first one and the warning. Then the second one will be your first penalty. So I don't know. That 3 seems like a lot.
But it doesn't have to be 3. I mean, if
well,
there's 2,
to hit
you
the
still
over.
win.
Well, but you have for the penalty though. Like that'll be 3 tortilla.
Oh,
throws.
You're right. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But
I didn't even understand my own question.
I still think like the in-your-face nature of a lot of our fans and want to stick it to people, and like you can't tell me what to do. And now we brought a lot of attention to it. I mean, a lot of attention to this. I really don't think there's going to be that much of a slowdown this weekend with number of tortillas in the air or on the ground, on the playing surface. I would love to see it under. Like, sure, throw a lot of tortillas at the opening kickoff.
And then stop.
And then you'll have a couple stragglers.
Just
but
don't
seriously,
That's the thing. Like, don't throw any. That's what they've asked.
Don't throw any
to do. Don't bring them in. Don't throw them. I'm taking the under because I feel like Red Raider Nation has seen the light, and they are going to comply, even though they'll hate it. But I'm taking the under. Dwayne's with me. Thanks, Dwayne.
Yeah, he says under. I know our fans. I would be pleasantly surprised if it was reined in enough that you don't get flagged for it this game. Luckily, the way the schedule worked out, you probably can sustain a couple penalties against Oklahoma State. But if the schedule were flipped with BYU and this was your first game back, or it all blew up after Oklahoma State instead of Kansas, and you had all this lead up about tortillas and everything just 2 weeks later, and BYU was your first game back, I'd be patting people down outside the stadium myself.
Right?
Like, yeah, no, sir.
This is a get right game for the players and the fans. Let's get right here. Let's not bring in a potentially 9-0 BYU team and then have our issues.
Yeah. All right, let's look around the rest of the Big 12 this weekend. This was the matchup, this first matchup I've been looking forward to for a couple weeks now, because after the Kansas game, Ema, every man a Wildcat, has really come on, at least in my heart, because I'm a Wildcat fan for about 3 hours, starting Saturday morning, 11 o'clock. Kansas State at Kansas. I really hope the Wildcats just absolutely wipe the floor with them. Are they going to do it? No, it's going to be a close game. Kansas is 3.5-point home favorite here. But I would just hate to see bad things happen to Kansas. Really would. I really would hate to see it. BYU at Arizona State. Well, nope. BYU at Iowa State. Iowa State is a 2.5-point home favorite, 2:30 on Fox. This is going to be an ugly game. Like,
yeah.
BYU can be kind of explosive at times. That's not really their game. Like, they're very tough, but so is Iowa State. Like, this is going to be, I think, low scoring, kind of back and forth, and just a dogfight. Kind of like a lot of the Texas Tech Utah game was until you pulled away there late in the fourth. I want to see BYU lose because I want to get your margin of error built back into your schedule. But also, if they come into Lubbock undefeated, it's a better resume builder if you were to win that game. So,
Yeah, I'm with you, but I'm going to take the Cyclones. They've had a bye week. They're at home. BYU has won some absolute nail biters, including an overtime. Well, I think it was a double overtime win at Arizona. They won by one score. They won by one score hosting Utah that we mentioned. They won by 3 points at Colorado. They've just squeaked by on some of these. And hey, good teams win. It doesn't matter so much what the score is at the end of the day, but that just kind of leads me to believe that there are some ways that they can be exposed. And man, if anybody's going to figure it out, it's going to be the defense in Ames.
Baylor at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a 5.5-point home favorite. Give me Cincinnati. I know
Absolutely.
Josh. I know Sawyer Robertson is the Big 12's best passing quarterback, and Cincinnati does not have a good pass defense. This one's going to be probably a lot of points. I don't know what the over-under here as the spread is, but I think Cincinnati at home is going to cover that.
Yeah, and I'm with you there. I don't know. Just instantly, I think the Bearcats will cover. So that's where we'll be wrong.
TCU 15.5-point favorites on the road at West Virginia. I would love to take West Virginia to muddle this up a little bit and keep it close, but I don't see it happening.
That seemed like a lot of points until I started looking at their. Oh my gosh! I mean, 45-13 loss versus UCF in Orlando. 48-14 loss at home versus Utah. 41-10 loss in Kansas. Yikes. 15 seemed like an incredible spread, but I'm taking it. Give me the Horned Frogs to cover.
The CFB Graphs matchup has this as a 12-point victory for the Frogs. So there you go. If that means anything to you. Houston at Arizona State. Arizona State's an 8.5-point home favorite. Maybe they should just cope. I think Houston covers. I think there may be some emotional letdown here. I think Houston is decently good. I just don't think Arizona State's that good of a team.
I do think they caught some lightning in the bottle last week. I really want to try to disagree with you on these picks where I can, but I think the one I might disagree with you on is the first one. I think I would take Kansas at -3.5 at home, but I think I'm with you here. I've got Houston plus 8.5. That offense can score. I and I'm just kind of banking on the fact that Arizona State, after getting beat like a drum the week before Texas Tech came to town, may fall back to earth just a little bit after last week.
Yeah, and I get that some people would say like, well, that just makes it look bad for Texas Tech. No, I think that just goes to highlight like they really played up for that game. Yeah, you did not play well, but if they fall back down to earth and played a close game versus Houston, I think it just really highlights that they were really geared up to beat you. Finally, Colorado at Utah. Utah's a 15.5-point favorite at home versus Colorado. Had I not seen, if Utah didn't just beat the brakes off Arizona State 42-10, I would there's no way it's going to pull out that kind of a win against Colorado. I'm going to agree with you. I do think they're going to win 17, 20 points. And then Arizona and UCF are off. Other games, UCLA at Indiana. Does UCLA have another upset bid in them, Michael?
They're 24.5-point dogs on the road versus the number 2 team. I'm not seeing it at 9 a.m. their time. So
body clock.
Yeah, not feeling it for the Bruins. Are they the Bruins? Okay.
They're some kind of bear. Missouri at Vandy. 2.5-point home favorites are the Commodores.
I have no feel for that.
I have a hard time believing in Vanderbilt being this good.
I have a question for you. I saw a lot of people kind of up in arms about game day going to another SEC school this week, but have you considered who the SEC school is they are visiting? And I don't have any issues with them going to a top 10 Vandy team, going to Nashville, which is a place they've only been once. And it was the last year that game day came to Lubbock. It was in 2008. They went to Nashville. So this is only their second trip. And not only that, but they're playing a team that was still in the Big 12 the last time that they even went to Nashville. So, I mean, I get, solidarity, hate all the SEC things, but I'm not there with you on this. I mean, this feels like good for them. I mean, it's very similar.
They're gonna continue to go to SEC schools. Like that's just what they're gonna do. That's just where their alliances lie. So
I'm just not gonna get up in arms about this one. I feel like it's very warranted, and that's where they should go, independent of the conference. I think some people were bringing up the Dakota State rivalry thing. Like, well, I think they've done that more recently than they've been to Vanderbilt. So maybe go check out the Commodores.
Yeah, and just to look ahead to next week, South Carolina at Ole Miss. Number 8 Ole Miss, depending on what happens there. Number 13 Oklahoma at 17 Tennessee.
No, they've already been to Tennessee
10
once.
Vanderbilt at Texas. If Vanderbilt wins this weekend, are they going to be in Austin next weekend?
I don't know, because then that would be the third Vanderbilt game they've been to, because they.
I guess that would have been true.
They went to Tuscaloosa, but they haven't been to Austin in probably 8 months. Maybe time to
number
go.
5. Well, Georgia at Florida, although it's in Jacksonville.
Ugh. They just fired their coach, right?
They did, Billy Napier. We didn't touch on the newly fired coaches, but he's out. Mississippi State at Arkansas, Kentucky at Auburn. So maybe that's a week they go to a Big Ten matchup. Penn State at Ohio State.
Ugh. Once upon a time, that was circled.
Rutgers at Illinois. Indiana at Maryland, Michigan State at Minnesota, Purdue at Michigan, USC at Nebraska. Next week may be a week and they just go completely off the rails and go somewhere random.
Go to Manhattan. Start there.
I mean, Texas Tech at Kansas State, Cincinnati at Utah. Maybe they go back to Utah. Utah gets ranked again. Arizona State at Iowa State. UCF at Baylor. Arizona at Colorado. West Virginia at Houston. Oklahoma State at Kansas. Man, next week, Halloween weekend, at least as of today, some slim pickings, man.
Ames is in the mix, I would think. I could see Iowa State getting back into the top 25 if they take care of business this week versus BYU. Not could see it. They absolutely would. I think they would get in the top 25 if they beat an undefeated BYU team. And then if Arizona State takes care of business versus Houston, there you go. You got a top 25 matchup right there.
And ACC, Georgia Tech at NC State, Miami at SMU, Notre Dame at Boston College, Virginia at Cal, Duke at Clemson, Louisville at Virginia Tech, Pitt at Stanford, Wake Forest at Florida State.
I haven't seen how's SMU doing this year. That might be one of them.
That may be the best case we've heard. They're 5-2. That's where they're going next week.
Yeah, they might get up in the rankings. We'll see.
All right. Who else? Who haven't we talked about?
Oh, I was just going to throw in
Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's an intriguing game of sorts. I put a question mark at the end. I don't care.
I want the earth to swallow up that stadium. Sorry, fans. Yeah. Like you're just get raptured, I guess. Just go off into the pearly gates. It's all good. No.
Yeah. No comment on that either. I was just trying
to
find
the football field. It's no. I just lose both. Like there's just both teams lose the game. How about that? They both forfeit somehow, some way. 0-0 tie. I don't. There's no making that up. USF at Memphis.
Yeah, the reason I brought this up, USF remains the only G5 CFP hopeful right now. They're 6-1. Memphis is also 6-1, but they were undefeated until last week when they lost 31-24 to UAB.
Didn't UAB fire? Well, wasn't that the Trent Dilfer school?
I think so. So yeah, not great. Because I think Memphis was in the mix until that, because they were 6-0. So USF is one of the last G5 hopefuls. I'm just kind of going to be keeping an eye on them the rest of the year here and there. And then in frustrating news, the Big 12 announced every single game in Week 10 but one has a time and a channel, and the Red Raiders is not one of them. So, we don't know when or what channel Texas Tech versus Kansas State will be on in Week 10. And I believe there were 5 other games getting the same 6-day window treatment. So that we're in 6-day window season. That's fun. They can only do that to us twice, if I remember correctly. But I swear they did it 3 times last year. But we'll see.
Yeah. Yes, Trent Dilfer was the head coach at UAB and was fired. Interim head coach Mortensen took over and then won his first game. Was
turning them boys around. Beat an undefeated Memphis team that beat West Virginia last year in a bowl game. Oh boy. Okay. Soccer update. I'll be as quick as I can. It's all good, man. It's very good stuff. Texas Tech went 2-0 since we last recorded. Their trip to Arizona was successful. They are now the number 5th ranked team in the United Soccer Coaches Poll. They were 12 last week. Top Draw Soccer really loves the Red Raiders. They once again broke their highest ranking in school history, moving from 4 to number 3. They are obviously first place in the Big 12 standings. They have a 6-0-2 record in Big 12 play. They are 12-1-2 overall. And they started off that 2-0 stretch Thursday at Arizona State with a thrilling 3-2 victory. The Red Raiders led 2-0 at half. Arizona State came out very aggressively, scored 2 in the second half. We've seen this kind of happen a few times with this Red Raider team. They attack early on, and then they kind of let the other team back in it. But in this case, absolute heartbreaker of a goal by Krzyzewski with about 5 minutes left. She just off to her left foot nailed an absolute just corner shot that the goalie could never have gotten to, and put Texas Tech up 3-2 for good. That was her second goal of the day. Wynn did obviously allow some goals that day as goalie, but I saw a stat today that I couldn't believe. That is her first Big 12 road goal allowed since September 6th, 2024. So it's been over a year since a Big 12 team has scored on her over on the road. Sunday, head to Arizona. Not quite as exciting. The Red Raiders jumped out to a 2-0 lead in the 33rd minute. Krzyzewski got her third goal of the weekend. So just able to hold off Arizona the rest of the game. Wasn't nearly as close as on Thursday night. But just a great weekend of soccer. 2-0. Krzyzewski, she bumped her goal total from 10 to 13. Blackburn got a couple more assists. She now has 11, leading the team by far. There's 40 assists total on this team, and opponents have only gotten 9 against this defense. And let's see, where are we at? Texas Tech has allowed only 4 goals in their 8 Big 12 games. 2 of them were this weekend. So a really good stretch of defense there. Upcoming, very big game on Thursday. So if you have, let me make sure it's on ESPN Plus, but sometimes they don't list it. If they don't list it, it's on ESPN Plus. But Thursday night, 8 o'clock, they are headed to Boulder to take on Colorado. And depending upon which poll you take more weight in, Colorado is either ranked 7th or 22nd. So this is a tough team, and I should have had this pulled up. I was trying to see where they landed in the Big 12 standings, but let's see. Yeah, you'll be able to catch this game at 8 o'clock on Thursday night. As far as I can tell, it'll be on ESPN Plus, so that's no big deal. The Arizona game, it was kind of interesting. The Arizona game was on ESPNU over the weekend, so a little bit more exposure for the Big 12. Being on linear television, but Colorado is 5-1-2 in Big 12 play. They are 11-2-3 overall. So a really solid team, really big game. That's going to mean a lot in the standings. So try to tune in if you can. Thursday, 8 o'clock. And then, as always, check out Seeing Scarlet for way much more in-depth analysis and actual knowledge of this sport.
Thanks. Yeah, they do a great job, but don't sell yourself short there, Michael.
I'm getting into it, man. I think the game at Arizona State, I thought, oh man, I'm not going to be able to catch that because it's so late. And for some reason, I was up late. I think I was watching. Was I watching Steelers? I think I might have been watching the NFL or something. And then I switched over, and the game was getting really good, and so I stayed up really late to finish that one. It's like 11:30. It's fine. It's worth it. Got the dub.
I watched a lot of NFL Monday Night Football this week. And then I switched it over and watched the end of the ALCS. Again, another matchup where I wanted both teams to lose. But I turned it on as the Mariners walked, got the second guy on base ahead of George Springer to hit the home run. Like I turned it on one batter before they hit that 3-run bomb.
Oh, perfect.
So sorry, Mariners. I guess it was a bad luck charm for you. I wanted both teams to lose, but I would have been more okay with the Mariners winning. Except they're in the AL West, but anyways, Blue Jays Dodgers World Series incoming. Go Dodgers. Otani's just a beast.
He is.
Unstoppable
It's
force.
insane.
Basketball. Let's do a quick basketball update, Michael. We talked about the Big 12 AP top 25 rankings. Since we last recorded, there have been some player and position projections. JT Toppin named preseason AP Player of the Year watch list or whatever they call it, or AP first team. Also was the number one wing player. And
That's
then if you
interesting specific. I mean, what do they know that we don't?
well,
Would
just
you consider him a wing?
Well, because I think what we're seeing is, and it was backed up by what McCaslin said, playing Bamboye this year is going to allow Toppin to play back a little bit. He's not going to be your, your in the middle guy.
Your only
guy with size.
only guy.
But to that point, again, I don't remember if it was Rothstein or somebody similar to that does a lot of these preseason player lists graphics. He had Bamboye as like the number one inside post defender on his list, which has me a little excited to see how this team comes together. 2 weeks from tip-off, Lady Raiders hosting North Carolina A&T on the 3rd. Red Raiders host Lindenwood on the 4th.
Let's do it.
You want to talk about the baseball schedule release? It's out there.
It's out there. That was news that I threw in there. I don't have any comment on it really.
They open the season Friday, February 13th in Arlington versus Oklahoma. Not a great matchup if you were following Twitter when Oklahoma put up 15 runs on you this past week in a scrimmage weekend. They didn't put the score online, but you played them in Norman. You played them in Norman on Saturday, 2:30 p.m. It's on the schedule, but they didn't put, like I said, didn't put the score. They did. I believe it was probably the Oklahoma Twitter account. Maybe it was Texas Tech. Said they put up 15 runs in the first inning. Texas, you had a scrimmage against them on Saturday, September 27th. You lost that 9-3, but season starts February 13th. Globe Life Field in a Shriners Hospital for Children College Classic. Friday, Oklahoma. Saturday, the 14th, Vanderbilt. Sunday, the 15th, Arkansas. That's a tough way to open.
Yes, it is.
And then you play UTRGV in Edinburgh. Why this game isn't at home, I don't know. Throw them a bone. Then you host Albany for a 3-game series, CSU Bakerfield for 3 games, Penn State for 3 games, UTSA, and then conference play starts a month after first pitch. March 13th, you start off with Kansas, Dallas Baptist and Dallas, Arizona and Tucson, New Mexico and Lubbock, TCU and Fort Worth, ACU, Michael's second favorite team, Dan Field, then host Houston, return trip to New Mexico, April 7th, West Virginia and Lubbock, ACU and Abilene, Utah and Salt Lake. That could be a fun little trip. Tarleton State, noticeably without a location listed. Maybe they're trying to move that one to like Midland or something. You do host Oklahoma State this season. You will face Oklahoma in Frisco, travel to Waco for Baylor, host the one return game for DBU there. You also host BYU on the road to finish the season in Cincinnati.
This is
There
really
you
an
go.
interesting non-con schedule because once they get back from the Shriners and they go to the Rio Grande Valley to face the Vaqueros, they will have 14 straight home games for a solid month. They will not hit the road. See, they'll play on the road February 17th versus UTRGV, and they will not hit the road again until they have a midweek in Dallas, May 17th or March 17th against DBU. Now, I mean, I know that there's a chance that Tadlock may throw in a midweek somewhere to get them out of the road, but you're going to get a little comfortable spending an entire month in Lubbock. That's an interesting stretch.
Yeah, the only opportunity you would have to do that would be that first week of March. So you host CSU Bakersfield Sunday the 1st, and then you're off that week. The midweek, I would say, and then you host Penn State that Friday the 6th. So if you wanted to hit the road and do
Go to Albuquerque for
move one of your New Mexico games.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just strange. That's a lot of sleeping in your own bed,
That's okay.
I guess.
And then
I
you
hope.
get DBU in Dallas on the 17th, Arizona that weekend in Tucson, and then back at home versus New Mexico. So on the flip side, you do get this weird little stretch here. DBU, Arizona on the road, home for one versus New Mexico, then back on the road for TCU. So you go, 2 weeks where you only play one game at home.
Yeah, and I would, if I could put money on that game getting played or not, I probably would. March 24th, Tuesday. It just feels like one of those games where some hailstorm's going to roll in and they'll just call it or postpone it or something.
Yeah.
It just feels like that.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to what do we learn, Michael?
Yeah.
Let's wrap this thing up. All right. I will go first. I mentioned earlier because she even ran in here. Toddlers. And when they get to be independent, Michael, like it's a love-hate transition. He's like, oh man, this is great. Like they need me to do less for them, which is like more, you don't have to get up all the time. You don't have to chase them down. But then they don't know their boundaries. This has happened. I don't know if it's consecutive days, but 2 in the past 3 or 4 days are 2-year-old who is on the verge of potty training. It's pulled her diaper off, her pull-up off, but it has not been empty. And so you have to go chase her down before she sits on something, before she touches herself in a way that then continues to spread it. We came into her room, and she had very smartly had opened her drawer where her pull-ups and her wipes are, had gotten the wipes out, was trying to clean herself, and she had done a decent job. Like, I don't know if you've watched How I Met Your Mother, but there's a joke there, like, where's the poop, Robin? We're like, where's the poop, Vinny? Because her diaper was empty, but it wasn't empty, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It had rolled under her bed. So anyways,
Love it.
Toddlers, man, potty training, independence, it's fantastic. It's scary. I've picked up poop a couple times this week to flush in the toilet. Always with, toilet paper, right? You go grab some toilet paper,
Sure.
grab it. Then you got to clean the carpet, make sure it's
Yep.
clean or disinfected and all that fun stuff. But yeah, pulling off the pull-up before mom or dad are ready for that to happen. Scary moments.
It is. See your life flash before your eyes. I learned that my 8-year-old self had a much worse basketball game, much worse first basketball game than my 8-year-old daughter did. What is Last Sunrise say? Oh, I just missed it.
1-year-olds are F1 tornadoes. 2-year-olds are F2s.
Yeah, that's fair. Very fair. So
I'm
anyway,
not looking for the 5-year-old. We do have a 5-year-old, and he is an absolute terror some days.
so my daughter had her first basketball game ever on Saturday. It's fun. It's a group of girls who are probably like 8 and 9, and they're the Bucks. Because all the teams in this league are NBA teams, and for some reason one of the girls teams is the Bucks. So sure, why not?
Did Dad pick the name? Like, is this
I
or did the girls pick it?
I don't know. I think it was I think it was randomly assigned. We were asked to be a part of this team after the season had started from a friend at school who, they could use another player, and we were like, sure, why not? And there's only one
Sure.
Saturday where the soccer and basketball games were on the same day, and we thought, okay, we can make this work. We weren't going to try to have her doing 2 sports at the same time. But anyway, so Saturday she had her first game. She was nervous, understandably so. Entirely different thing. She's been to basketball camps. She's decent at handling the ball, but she's never played a game of basketball. And so I was kind of nervous too. But man, she rocked it. She did great. She knew where to stand to throw the ball in. I mean, the refs were great too. They were super helpful and explaining fouls and when they would have to call a carry or a double dribble when it was so blatant that they had to call it, they would explain why and kind of walk them through it. Just really great job by them. But the Bucks lost. No one was really surprised by that too much. But my daughter had a great time. She was just all smiles almost instantly. When the game was over, on defense, she had her hands up the whole time. She was kind of standing at the top of the key though when she should have been down rebounding. She's too used to playing soccer. She's like, oh, she's got to be ready for that outlets pass. She's looking for the snowbird. But so we're that's like the only thing I can think of to work with her on at this age and at this stage of her skill set is just kind of some strategy. Just, hey, go for the rebounds. If everybody's down there trying to get a rebound, you join them, and you don't need to stand at the top of the key. But man, that was a lot of fun. Too. She is tall, and she's an athletic kid too.
Been playing soccer all those years.
Yeah. She's got good stamina. She played a basketball game and she played a soccer game. She went to a birthday party. Saturday was a big day. And then she was still rocking at 9:00. So anyway, that was great.
8?
Yep, she's 8.
Wow.
So hopefully this will turn into something. And as we go to the Lady Raider games this year, she'll pay a little bit more attention because it's a whole different, no pun intended, it's a whole different ball game when you're watching a game that you have played versus just watching a game. You start to understand it better, especially at that age. You start to understand why they are doing certain things or but yeah, this little group of girls was great. I mean, that both teams were setting screens and getting people open and making free throws on 10-foot goals at that age, like draining them. I was just, it was great. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Girls,
I'm not going to read that one in.
Yeah. I know. I don't know why they named them the Bucks, because my wife kept asking me because she has no frame of reference with NBA. And so I just kept trying to frame it. Oh no, the Bucks are really good.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a good team. But she was like, really? But the Bucks? Like, yeah, I know. I don't know what to tell you about that.
We have a nephew that has played rec basketball for a few years. And let me just say, like, parents like basketball parents are on a different level than baseball parents. And I mean this in a good way for basketball parents. They're more chill and relaxed about kids learning the game and how like the game is officiated and how the officials run the game. Whereas in baseball, like it's not the case. Everything is under like scrutinized under a microscope. It's like we were playing 5-year-old T-ball. All right. Like it's okay. Little Johnny hit the ball and ran to third. And then ran all the way across the field. Like I'm not like the umpire's not going to call him out for out of the base path. That's not a thing. Like we've got 14 kids tripping over each other, fighting over a ball, and like the space between first and second base. The runner running through them is not going to get called, or they're not going to call him for obstruction. Or it's like it's fine. Whereas like the complete opposite, like you know, they're not very strict with the traveling and the double dribble and all that kind of stuff. Because my nephew's younger than your daughter, so like even then, more introductory. But still, it's like there's a lot more acceptance and grace for learning the game than there is at a baseball field.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Speaking of learning, I'm just learning where I'm supposed to sit. So there's only bleachers on one side of this gym, and we were just kind of sitting in the middle just because we got there. There was quite a bit of time left there was a boys game going on before us, and so we watched a good chunk of that second half. We just happened to be sitting in the middle, and then lo and behold, when our game starts, I realize I'm sitting all around the parents of the opposing team, just completely surrounded by them. But to your point, it was the same. I felt the same thing. I mean, you could hear them kind of groan a little bit when there'd be maybe a foul they thought should have been called or something, or particularly when their team took three steps with the ball, kind of like, knowing that that's part of it, but also recognizing like, he could have called that. That's okay, I guess, and just let it go. But yeah, I felt the same way, because even at soccer, it gets pretty intense. Like our opposing coach got a yellow card last week because I mentioned on the instant reaction, but he got a yellow card last week because I'm pretty sure he was right, an uncalled offsides, but it was on a goal that put us up 5-0 and we won 8-0. So, I mean, pick your battles, I guess. But yeah, my wife noticed it too. She's like, man, there's a lot less chatter from the stands and from the people. And part of it's, I said, well, because they can hear you. I said, that's the thing with basketball. If you get loud, every single person in that gym's going to hear you. So you better be ready. You better know what you're getting into if you just decide to start spouting off. She's like, yeah, I guess you're right. I said, yes, especially in that gym. I mean, you could hear every word every coach was saying. But all the parents around me, I could hear them. It's echoing. It's everywhere. The ref is 4 feet in front of you in an enclosed area, and the Burl Huffman wind zone is not blowing. Yeah, I think that's part of it too. It's indoors, so there's a little more etiquette because everybody knows, oh, if I even just sort of raise my voice, they're probably going to hear me and know exactly who it was. Got a problem here? No, we're good. We're good.
Were you guys at the Y?
No, we were at Talkington Boys and Girls Club. Over, it's just northwest of Costco. And I had never been there, so I just walked into the gym for the first time, and okay, all right, players sit here on let's see, that'd be on the south side of the gym, and then the fans sit on the north side. Anyway, but yeah, it was great. Even my mother-in-law had to kind of, she's like, man, they just let them travel wherever they want, don't they? I'm like, yeah, they do. They're learning the game. This is how this works. I had to kind of temper her expectations a little bit. Like, I know you come from watching a lot of Kentucky basketball. This is not. Hang on.
This is not John Calipari's
Yeah.
Wildcats, man.
I know we're playing 4-on-4 today because the other team only had 4 girls show up. So there we go. We're already starting there. Should have been 5-on-5, I think. But anyway, the only other thing I learned that I wanted to mention quickly, just to get us back to the food roots, went to Allsup's this week, had a delicious beef and bean, and thought, man, I'm going to give that pizza burrito a try. Not worth it. It's not worth it, man. Yeah. If you're gonna get a deep fried gut bomb from,
it's like a deep fried Hot Pocket.
Yeah, just go for the old standby. Actually, I think I enjoy a pepperoni Hot Pocket better than the Allsup's pizza burrito. Just a lot of sauce. Just an incredible, a disproportionately amount of sauce. I wasn't really expecting that. So not worth it. Go for the tried and true beef and bean. Go for the chimney. Had some friends in the Discord give the chicken chimney specifically some high praise, which I had not tried. There's the green chili one, which I think I've only had once or twice, but the beef and bean, man, just because of it, you get it because it pairs so well with the taco sauce. I've not tried the mustard. I don't know if I ever will because the taco sauce is just that good.
I've never wanted to try one of these burritos more than I do now.
The pizza one.
I would probably try all 3 of them. Speaking of food, though, and burritos and Mexican food, we've been trying to find new Mexican places because, right, like not new Mexican, but like new to us. Because we were regulars at Garcia's. We loved Taco Villa. We would occasionally dip down and go to Rosa's. None of those 3 things are here. So we've been trying to look for other things. And we've talked about on this show before. We've been going to Taco Bell. Enjoying their Y2K menu. Like, it feels like it was made for us in our generation, yes. Michael. Double-decker taco, Mexican pizza, 5-layer. Man, all those things just hit. But we went to this new restaurant called Acapulco, and I'm realizing a lot more restaurants down here are I'm realizing I much prefer Tex-Mex to Mexican food. And it's not that Mexican food is bad. It's just different. And I went the way I grew up, very much enjoyed Tex-Mex. And I had a Hispanic stepfather and his family had a lot of authentic and traditional Mexican recipe foods, and it was good. But I just miss some of my old food haunts back there in Lubbock, man. Sometimes it's weird to say like Mexican food in Lubbock.
Cheese enchilada.
I just want nothing but cheese, brother.
That's it.
Samantha is a big fan of the avocado enchiladas, and you can get those pretty much anywhere, but those are okay. Kiko's is a big restaurant down here, and we actually really like them. Apparently, they've had a really big hit on their quality lately. It's like, man, if this is them bad, sign me up for when they're really good, because this is pretty dang good. And then we heard a lot about Acapulco. We went there this past weekend. The thing with this restaurant specifically, it was a very large dining room. It was in a high ceiling, square, hard floor, very loud. It was an echo chamber. It was very overwhelming. It's like, I just want my enchiladas, my fajitas. I want the tortillas that come with my food. I want
my Laredo plate, my Durango plate.
Like, my kids are screaming. It's like, we ordered mac and cheese and chicken strips and we didn't get like half the food. It's like, dude, just do your job. Let us get out of here. I want to eat your food and get out of here. It was good food. Service and atmosphere sucked. All right. Anyways, that's all I had. Anything else before we wrap this one up, Michael?
Go Raiders. Get the Pokes. That's all I got.
That's the intro. I need the outro, man.
Oh, we're starting over. Okay. That's the intro again.
That's the intro again. Where's my outro? Well, that's dumb. I'll have to drop it in the edit afterwards. But that'll do it for us here on the 23 Personnel Podcast. Getting you ready for the game this weekend versus Oklahoma State. Would love to see 66-6, 53-13 would be just fine, or 56, whatever I said, 56-13. Even I guess if it's more close to what the season's average of 45-18. It's a get right game. Let out some of your frustrations. Show that you're pissed off. You want to get back on the right track. Definitely need the offense to get going. But that'll do it for us. For Michael, I'm Spencer. We'll catch you guys next time.